Hey, it's Clay at claytrader.com. This will be my top 10 stocks as we head into Wednesday, September 14th. This will be a technical analysis breakdown. So if you're someone that uses charts within your trading, or maybe you're just interested in learning more about charts and how they can be used to help make good decisions as a trader, this will be a video for you. First off, a couple clarification points. Number one, the price you see over here will be changing, and then the candlestick itself will also be changing around. That is because the market is still open for a small amount of time, but I like to do these videos when the market is still open because sometimes we can capture some really interesting late day price movement. And then second, I'll be using the 30-minute time frame, meaning each one of these candlesticks here, as they're called, represents 30 minutes worth of time. So stock number one here is actually not a stock. It's an ETF, QQQ, which is just a way to measure the overall NASDAQ market. And unless you live under a rock, you know that the markets got hammered today, including the NASDAQ, which is being illustrated here. So you can see just basically all afternoon long. And again, each of these represents 30 minutes. So you can just see 30 minutes of red, 30 minutes of red, 30 minutes of red, of more red. And then the final 30 minutes looking like it'll be even more red here. So at this point, really moving forward, and I just want to set the context, over the next couple of days, is you got to think that all eyes are going to be down here at this 291, what is that? 291, 290.85 if you want to be exact. And there's nothing fancy, there's nothing complicated behind the reasoning other than the fact of that's just the lowest it's been over the past couple of months. So I'm not saying the price is headed down there. All I'm saying is that's going to be the level that a ton of people will be watching. You're going to have longs saying, okay, you know what? Maybe the price comes down here and gives some sort of double bottom bounce. You're going to have shorts saying, you know what? If the price comes down there and fails, that's just going to open up another big can of worms, and it's going to create that much more downside pressure. Both of those people are correct. I can see both sides. Both are logical. Either a double bottom bounce or some sort of floodgates opening up that much more. But the underlying dynamic here is that this 291 mark is going to be a very, very watch level, and in my mind, a very important level, because if the price does break below there, as you're seeing here, now all of a sudden, you're starting to put next potential areas of support, not until down around the 287.50 mark, and then it starts to space out even more after that. But I don't want to get too far ahead of ourselves. Let's just first see how 291 behaves if it does get tested. And at this point, you got to think there's a very likely chance that it does get tested. But again, what the price does at that level, grab your popcorn and let's see what happens. Next one, ADTX, one of the few green stocks on the day. And this is a penny stock. So for those of you that do like penny stocks, then here you go. Or maybe you just like green stocks. So once again, here you go, because it was green, like I said, on the day. And has a good solid pattern here moving into Wednesday. So one of these situations where I'm not trying to impress you. I'm not trying to imply that me drawing these lines is some sort of special talent or some sort of special skill. I'm not saying that at all. In fact, I would say that a lot of people have drawn this pattern here. And I say all that because when a lot of people, let me change that to green to represent support. But when a lot of people are watching the same patterns and wondering the same thing, call it a self-fulfilling prophecy, call it whatever you want. It can create some very dynamic price movement. So moving forward here, the level that I think a lot of people will be watching, or I should say more so the pattern, is going to be this level right there, the resistance, that level right there, the support. And then if you measure, the big momentum move right here, and then make it that much more visual, put the golf hole down here, this would be known as a bull pennant pattern. So nothing is guaranteed, but is it plausible? Is it valid to think that if the price can come up here and then get the break up through the top part of that pattern, because again, a lot of people are going to be watching this pattern, that break could in and of itself, create more momentum, because people are going to say, hey, I'm a breakout player. Oh, look, it's breaking out. Oh, I'm supposed to buy. Yeah, that's certainly a plausible thought process to have. So if you like to play penny stocks, if you like to play bull pennant patterns, here you go. Next, NIO. Very, very impressive day today, just for the simple reasoning, and yeah, maybe this is setting the bar low, but all things considered about how bad the market's getting beat down, is the thing actually recovered from the gap down and then just went sideways. So yes, going sideways, this may seem kind of boring, this may seem kind of neutral, but in this situation, it is so strong, because most stocks are experiencing something like this, just getting absolutely shoved to the downside, yet here NIO is just going sideways. So yeah, sideways action, I agree. Relatively boring, okay, really boring, but when you factor in the concept of today, definitely a very, very impressive sign of strength. So no guarantees, as I've said, but you got to think that if the overall markets have any sort of strength at all, that this trend line right here has a very good chance of breaking once more. No such thing as a guarantee, but is it valid? Is it rational to think that trend line, given how strong this one was today, has a good chance of breaking if the overall markets even just have a mediocre day? I think that is a more than fair conclusion that could happen with that. If there is any sort of pullbacks, then the key level of support right there at 21.50. But overall, I think most eyes are going to be watching that trend line right there, and rightfully so, especially given how strong NIO was on the day. Next one, AKRO. This one, pharma stock, completely, marched to the beat of its own drum today. Didn't care what the market was doing. Clearly gapped up, stayed up the whole time. And the reason why I want to put this right after NIO, same exact concept. It's all about that trend line right there. When all things considered, this thing essentially went sideways the entire day when the markets were getting shoved down. You got to think that all sorts of people are watching that trend line right there and wondering if the price breaks, is that going to just create that much more upside buying pressure? It may not. Maybe it doesn't break. Maybe this thing just drifts back into oblivion. That is possible. But that is a two-sided coin, because it's also possible that, well, maybe it does break out and then just gets ripping and roaring to the upside. So that breakout level right up there around, let's just call it $29.50, going to be that key level. But like I said, nothing fancy here, and nothing special, nothing magical. There's nothing that here that is implying that this is a great discovery on my part or that I have a special skill. I assure you, lots of people have drawn that trend line, and lots of people are going to be watching that breakout point. So let's see if there is some sort of self-fulfilling prophecy and breakout that occurs from it on Wednesday. Next one, AMC. And AMC still a red day, a rough day. But all things considered, I would also consider this a relatively strong one, because sure, it gapped down, but then after that, basically just went sideways. And when you're looking at the Qs, which is why I wanted to start off the video looking at that one, you just saw, that entire afternoon, red candle, red candle, red candle. And here it was just simply going sideways. So yes, this area of support was broken, not a good thing. And this is what leads to the first update. This would now be considered an area of resistance, just foundational rules there. When levels of support are broken, they tend to act as resistance. So 975 will be that first key level of resistance if there is going to be any sort of bounce. And you can see right here, that rule played out perfectly all afternoon long. Price really struggled at that level. So not saying it can't be broken, just saying it makes sense why the price is struggling at that level. And if that area can be broken, the next key level up there right around 1050. In terms of levels of support, two main levels stand out. First one is right where the price found some support right there. Purple line, the 50-period moving average. And then if that fails, you have the bigger brother of the 50-period moving average, the 200-period moving average, right now valued at $9.19. But yeah, all things considered, I'd say AMC had a pretty strong day. Real quickly, wanted to pause and personally invite you to get signed up for this free live training that I'm offering very soon. So if you've been enjoying what you've seen and you want to learn more about this tool of charts, how it can and should be used, and why it's just so powerful in building consistency as traders, then certainly get signed up for the free training. If you're watching on YouTube, there's a link in the description box. If you're watching at my site, there's an area right there on the webpage that you can click to get signed up. So definitely get signed up for the free training if you want to learn more about this tool. Next one, ticker symbol CMRA, and very, very impressive late day move. Looking down here at that volume, stayed very, very strong. Dropped down for a small amount of period right there. Almost made you think that, okay, I guess nobody cares about this anymore. And then just came ripping and roaring back to life once again. So I want to map out a couple of key levels moving forward. So the first key level to watch on any sort of pullback going to be this former breakout point right down there around the round number of $3. So keep an eye on that. Like I said, if there is any sort of pullback. And then as far as areas of resistance, very straightforward here. Just a question of where did the momentum finally stop? And it stopped during that last 30 minutes, right up there at essentially $4 and let me just make sure I got this right. Yeah, $4.28. So 4.28 will be that first key level. Again, nothing fancy other than that's just where the party stopped. But if you, looking at this candle, which I completely agree with and see and think, okay, I think there might be some sort of pullback coming, then yeah, $3 is an interesting area from that point of view. But all in all, definitely green on the day. Very few stocks like that out there, but it was able to gather up enough strength. So let's see if this strength can build and carry into Wednesday. Next one, ETNB, and like this one, because it's just got such a well-defined breakout point right up there at $7.50. So again, not a great discovery, not a special talent. I won't repeat myself in that regard, other than we'll just call $7.50 one of those self-fulfilling prophecy areas. So yeah, if the price does come back up there and can push up through it, not guaranteed, but more than plausible to think that a 750 break gives this thing another jolt of momentum on the breakout. So keep a close eye on that. If you like to play the pullbacks, then a pretty well-defined pullback area right down here, give or take around the 650 mark. I say give or take because, yeah, a couple times the price didn't quite go that low. Other times the price went a little bit lower. But generally speaking, just right down around that area, there does seem to be quite a bit of buyers. So two very well-defined levels. So if you like to play sub-$10 stocks, here you go. Next one, TSLA, Tesla, and like the markets here, a rough day, but Tesla was certainly a lot stronger than other stocks. And I go back and reference the QQQ, the first one I showed. Remember all that red the last 30 minutes? And all actuality, Tesla still has not broken those lows that were made late morning. Whereas QQQ demolished those lows from the morning and kept on sinking and sinking and sinking, whereas Tesla did not do that. So once again, all things considered, Tesla had a pretty strong day today when you consider especially that afternoon movement, which for me, as somebody that watches Tesla on a daily basis, it seems like all Tesla needs, all Tesla wants is just a mediocre day. It's not like the markets have to have a great day, just even a mediocre day. And you can see this thing, it just seems like it wants to go higher. But when you have that much downwards pressure, the best it could essentially do today. Now, I realize, again, overall, it was down because of the gap down, but it did not continue to go down like so many other stocks and like the overall market as a whole. So any sort of, mediocrity seems like it'd be able to get the price up to that level and then push up through it. So again, no guarantees. And I just want to keep reminding you of that. Markets don't offer guarantees, but that to me is a very rational, way of looking at it. And that's what I'll be looking at. I'll be looking to see how the markets look. And if they're even, halfway decent, then you got to think that a chance of, breaking up above the 296 mark seems quite possible. And then you have this area of support down here at 290. So we'll keep an eye on that also. And that's right where the price, found some support here. But overall, like I said, Tesla, generally speaking, relatively speaking, was actually quite strong. Next one, AMD, and AMD was not strong. AMD was just essentially like the markets as a whole. And I wanted to point that one out here just because, you had these earlier lows right here and then spent the entire afternoon breaking those lows, which is, again, what Tesla did not do. So just kind of a good kind of comparison. And in that move today, you can see the price is now broken down below lows that has not seen for quite a while, right there at $77.75. So that was a support. And as I already talked about in the previous one, basic rules, when levels of support are broken and closed above, they tend to act as resistance. So if there is any sort of attempted bounce in the upwards direction, 77.75 will be that first key level of resistance that'll need to be broken. So you want to keep a close eye on that. If this thing does continue to bleed, where are some next potential areas of support? And as you're seeing here, we are having to go back way into the chart's history because it's been a long time since the price has been down this low. But next key overarching level of support right there at $76. And then after 76, next key level after that down there at, let's see, what is that? 74.50. So keep an eye on those couple areas. Like I said, if the bleeding continues, but if the bleeding tries to stop and turn around, then yeah, that first big test will be up at 77.75. Next one, AMZN, Amazon. And Amazon basically mimicked the Qs today. Came down. So there was the late morning lows. And unlike Tesla, came down to those lows and just blasted down through them. So Amazon really displayed no sort of strength at all. It just was completely in line with the markets today. And like the markets now, Amazon is now facing some levels here that have been seen several times and have held right around 125.35. So you can see, generally speaking, price was down there several times before. And to be fair, it did hold in the past, but will it continue to hold? We'll see what happens. So if the price goes down there, like I talked about on the Qs, you're going to have basically two sets of people. You're going to have people, both sets are logical. Somebody's saying this, I think this might double bottom and bounce. Okay, I can totally see that. Somebody else is going to say, nah, I think if it gets down there and breaks, that's going to open up even more downside floodgates. That also makes relevant sense, which is why risk management matters so much, because somebody's going to be right, somebody's going to be wrong. So you want to keep your eye on that area. If the price does decide to bounce at all, key area of resistance to any sort of bounce going to be right up here at the 128.25 mark. So keep a close eye on that. But yeah, overall, rough day here for Amazon. So that wraps up the top 10. Again, if you like what you saw here, then there will be this live class here in just a couple of days. It'll be Thursday, September 15th. At 7 p.m. Eastern time. So I hope to see you there. Definitely get signed up. If you enjoy these live trade videos, if you'd like for me to continue to put in the time and effort to create this content, then do two things for me. Hit the like button and leave a simple comment. Tell me what you traded today. Tell me what you're watching tomorrow. Give me a request for tomorrow's video that maybe I'll do an analysis of that chart of. But those two things go a long way in giving me feedback that you're enjoying. And as long as I know people are enjoying, I'll continue to put in the time and effort required to get these top 10 list videos out to you. So again, get signed up for the free training. Hit the like button. Leave a simple comment down below. Everybody, thanks for watching. Take care. Have a good one.